It's time for a conversation now with financial advisor, Sis Phumelele Ndumo. Yeah, we're talking emergency fund today. I don't know if you know about it, if it's something that you're familiar with at all. If not, I guess we have another opportunity for a learning curve. How are you doing, Sis Phumelele?
Hi, Bonolo. I would also like to greet your listeners.
Thank you so much for giving us your time, as always. For somebody who may be hearing the words emergency fund for the very first time, what is it and why is it so important to have one?
Emergency fund is basically an account that you open so that in times of crisis like now, with COVID-19, we've had lockdown, on level 3, and not everyone is back at work. Mm-hmm. Many people are finding themselves short of cash because they are not getting paid their full salaries, or, in some worst case scenarios, you might even have lost a job. And those who are self-employed, they are not even able to open their businesses as yet, depending on, which business you are in. So these are times like this that basically require or help if you have an emergency fund. What I often say to my customers is, you want to, whatever amount of money you make per month,
yeah,
if you can just, say to yourself, I'm going to put X amount, there's no hard and fast rule how much you should be putting away. There are guidelines and so forth. Mm-hmm. But what I often say is, if you make this part of your monthly budget, so whatever amount you earn, that you're putting away a certain amount every month, so that, when times like this are upon us, at least you have some cash available to help you to deal with whatever emergencies and, crises that you might find yourself in. Mm-hmm. So, the minimum, is generally 500 rands. And I'll tell you why. That 500 rands is informed by the minimum amount that the investment companies allow you to put away per month.
Right.
So then you can't go below that. You like forced to do the 500 rands. But there are people with emergency funds who, 2,000 rands and above, because they can afford to do that.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, before you even have, your, what I will call proper investment accounts, mm-hmm. or tax-free investment accounts, I would basically say you need to have an emergency account so that, you have that money to tap into when you have an emergency. And at that time, the likelihood are, if it's an emergency account, you will not have lost any money. Mm-hmm. And maybe to explain that, remember when we invest money, there are different types of instruments where we can invest your money. Mm-hmm. We can use your cash instruments, we can use bonds, we can use equities, we can go offshore, we can invest in listed properties.
Right.
So all of these other, asset types or asset allocations, aside from cash, they tend to be very volatile. Mm-hmm. So, like right now, the stock exchange, especially the JSE, if you look at the top 40 shares, they've really lost quite a lot of value. If you're speaking to people these days who have investments, pension funds, retirement annuities, and their money was in the stock exchange locally or globally, in properties and all of that, they will tell you that they have lost money. So you don't want to then put your emergency fund in such instruments, because chances are when you need that money and you are in a crisis, you might have that money might have lost value. So the best place to put away money for an emergency is a money market account, mm-hmm. which is basically cash instruments. To try and give a real example, these companies will take all these 500 rands or 2,000 rands or whatever the amount is, and they will collect those monthly from their customers who are opening emergency funds.
Right.
And they will take this money and they will in turn lend it forward to other companies. Now, as you can imagine, if and I don't want to mention names, and I'm sitting in front of me and I've got a fun fact sheet, but I don't want to, I don't want to promote any company here. I just want to speak principles,
yes,
more than talk about specific companies.
Mm.
So an investment company where you've put your emergency fund will take your money and the monies of millions of other South Africans, and they will loan it to other companies,
right,
and other banks, and sometimes even to our government. So because they are lending it out to companies and government and banks, chances of those big companies and government and banks defaulting on their repayment is low.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, and also because they are lending this money in bulk, so they don't have too many people to manage.
Yes.
They are able then to give you, as the person who's invested into the emergency fund, they're able to give you a better return, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So, then also cash generally is not volatile. What is happening, for instance, right now with COVID-19
Mm-hmm.
and job losses and all the stresses that our economy is under, the Reserve Bank Monetary Policy Committee is now reducing interest rates,
yes,
to assist people to be able to continue to pay for their debt. So yes, your emergency fund, if you have a money market account, will be earning a little bit less, but you will not have lost money, as it might have happened if your money was in property, stocks, or in the JSE, in equities, or in bonds.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at the returns, I was just doing a study of how have the funds performed post COVID-19 announcement, which was towards the end, sometime in March. Many of the other, asset allocations, the bonds have lost money, the equities have lost money, property stocks have lost money, the top 40 shares in the JSE have lost money. But when you look at the money market account, it's just lost a little bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
Because the idea is when you need the money, it must be available, and ideally, you should not have lost any money when you need it the most.
Yes.
So the idea there is not to really grow your money. It is just to keep it safe, so that when an emergency happens, your money is available for you to use. And another thing about, I'm now looking at your questions. I'm going through your questions here. So what type of emergencies should I access the fund?
Yes.
All of us have got different emergencies, Bonolo. Right now, many people have had to go and buy, for the first time in our lives, we're having to buy face masks.
Yes.
We're having to buy, what do you call these sanitizers, and things like that. And sometimes, even if it's not a COVID-19 related emergency, you may have your garage door not working, and there's an emergency. You might have, your car breaking down.
Or having to change the tires.
And yes, with potholes and everything. So every person, the emergency differs from one person to the other. But reality is, most of us, at one time or another in our lives, will encounter something that is not, usual, and it will require that we have money. A family member gets him sick, and if you are in Gauteng, and that family member is in the Eastern Cape, that's an emergency, because you might not have planned to go home, and now suddenly you need to have 2,000 rand and above to get on a bus or a flight and go home. So, so it's different things, but it's things that you cannot plan for. It's unlike your annual, uniform for your children or school fees for your children, those things you can foresee. So you are able to then save for them. An emergency is something that just comes unexpectedly. And you know, one thing about crisis, they always come at the worst of times. So that is why it is good practice to just put away, what I often say to my customers, just put away the surface rent and forget about it. You know, one day when things are hard, you will then remember that there is this surface rent that I've been putting away. And right now, Bonolo, many of our customers are emailing us, they are contacting us, they want to have access to their money. So, because things have just, you know, become difficult.
Yeah.
So this is the time to be accessing your emergency fund if you had built one up.
Understandably. What's the difference though between, like, if somebody's saying perhaps that I already have a savings account, what's the difference between that then and an emergency fund?
Okay. You know, one thing about, maybe let me go back a little bit. Yeah, and I use what I do in my practice. So I wouldn't say an emergency fund is an emergency fund if you can just take out a bank card and withdraw that money, because temptation is there for all of us.
Yes.
So ideally, this money should be invested such that when you want to withdraw it, you shouldn't just be taking out a bank card. You should be calling your financial advisor and saying, I need the money. In fact, when you call us, you don't even have to tell us what has happened. It's your money after all. But by virtue of the fact that there is no bank card that you can just walk into an ATM and withdraw it, you know, it tends to then grow over time. That is one thing. You know, I think I've spoken before about the need for all of us to hide our money from ourselves. And the best way to hide money, because we're all human beings, we all suffer temptations.
Yeah.
We have children, and sometimes they ask for this and that. And if you can just get a card and go and withdraw the money, your emergency fund will never grow. And then when there's an emergency, you'll find that you've not put aside enough money. So the difference between an emergency fund, to then answer your question directly, and the savings account is generally with a savings account, it is with your bank.
Yeah.
And you have access to it even when you need. So it tends not to really grow. You know, I've got people who come to me, and when we speak about this concept of having an emergency fund, they then say to me, but I'm saving in my 32-day notice account or whatever.
Yes.
And then I point that to them that, you know what, when you have an emergency, for starters, you don't have 32 days to wait until you can access your money.
That's true.
Normally, when you have a crisis, you need your money yesterday. Yes, with an emergency fund, you must still complete withdrawal forms, and normally it takes about 5 working days. But that's better than 32 days. That's for starters.
Yeah.
And 2, there are no penalties, because remember that if you use a 32-day notice account as an example, as an emergency fund for yourself, when you need that money, and you know, and you say, I cannot wait for 32 days, they will penalize you.
Yes.
For what is called an early withdrawal penalty. So you don't want that to be happening. So I'm quite pleased right now that many of our customers are emailing left and right and, you know, withdrawing money, because it was for times like this, we didn't know there was going to be COVID-19.
That's true.
But we just know that in all of our lives, we now and again come across, you know, instances of crisis, and it's important when such things happen that you have money to deal with that.
All righty.
Now, you asked another question here about using a credit card.
Yes, can I use a credit card as an emergency fund?
No. You know, I don't know if you look at your credit card. It's a requirement.
Wait.
Let me tell you why.
I was going to say, what if I put money in the credit card?
No. Okay, no for 2 reasons. One is the card.
Yes.
So anytime you want to access that money, you're going to access it.
That's true.
And your credit card is a busy card. I mean, most of us carry our credit cards now and again, which is not good for us, but we do. And you can access that money as and when. So the chances of it having grown, right now we're sitting with customers who have upwards of 20,000 in their emergency fund, because for the last few years they've just been putting this money away, and now things are happening and they need the money and then they can access it.
Yeah.
But the other reason why your credit card is not the best place to use as an emergency fund is look at the interest rate that you are getting there.
Yeah.
There are two types of interest rates, and they are noted on your credit card. It is debit interest, which is how much the bank or your credit card provider charges you when you've used money in that card. And then it is your credit interest. Your debit interest, it depends, when you took your card and so forth, but it's hovering around 20%. And oftentimes people make a mistake to think that just because the bank charges you 20% plus minus on your credit card, when you have money in your credit card, they'll charge you the same amount. And unfortunately, they don't. When you look at now the credit interest, it's around 1%. So they charge you 20% plus minus, if you're using money that they've advanced you in your credit card. But if you put money in that credit card, you only get 1%. Now, the emergency fund that I normally use for my customers, the interest rate, just to give you a sense of why then you don't want to use your credit card. The interest rate there per annum in the last 1 year was 7.6%.
Oh, wow.
As an example.
Yeah.
So, why are you earning 1% interest
when you could be earning 7.6%?
If you put money in your credit card,
yeah,
you can earn about 7.6% if that money was in an emergency account. So there's another question that, people often ask me when I speak about emergency funds or emergency accounts. They say to me, but Pumi, can I not use I have a home loan, and I have an access bond with my home loan. So why can't I pay more into my home loan as always, advise us to do?
Yes.
And then those additional payments, in instances when I have an emergency, then I can access them. And my answer is always the same. There is no one size fits all when it comes to how we manage our finances. And equally, there is no one size fits all advice. If you're going to be using your home loan account by putting in additional money there, which is in your best interest to do so, and then you use that as emergency funding, that is good provided you are a disciplined person.
Right.
Because many of us, when we have that access bond with our home loans, then that access bond tends to be used as our credit card. Even when we in a shopping mall and we need money and we've got money in our access bond, we walk into the ATM and withdraw money. And these days it's even worse, because even with your access bond, you're giving a card, and you can basically walk into an ATM and withdraw the money, or walk into any shop and use that money in your access bond to shop. So if you are a very disciplined person, that could work for you. But unfortunately, we know that most of us are not disciplined. So again, it's a question of accessibility, that will make it difficult. And I actually had a rude awakening myself now with this COVID-19. I have a similar account with one of the banks. And remember, they're offering 3 months payment holiday on our monthly bond repayments.
Yes.
So I phoned the bank to ask for the 3 months payment holiday. And they then said, the first question they asked is, are you owing us? Do you have any money in arrears? I said, no. They said, okay, you will qualify. And as she was busy doing it on the other side, it then occurred to me that I've got money lying there that I could access. Then I asked her, I said, I've got a little bit of money in my access bond because I've been paying more. Once you have given me this 3-month holiday, can I still access that money?
Yeah.
And guess what? The answer was no. So I said, well, don't give me the payment holiday. And I went to the ATM and I transferred the money out of the access bond account elsewhere, and then I phoned them again. I said, now you can put the payment holiday. So these are just some of the finer things that we've got to be aware with those access bonds. That, sometimes when you need it the most, that is when it might not be available, especially if you are going to be taking a payment holiday. So we've got to know what questions to ask as we do these things.
Wow, this has been you've answered all my questions. Yes, you have. Thank you so much. I was about to give my thanks because, you certainly have. I don't think that anybody can say they're not sure what comes next. So thank you so much. Much appreciated. I will share your contact details. Are you back at the office, by the way? Not yet.
We've taken a decision that, because what we're hearing with, the lockdown being lifted, partially, the chances are the infection rates are still going to be increasing as it's going to be difficult to be socially distancing, on your way to work and on your way back from work, if you're using public transport and all of that. So we've taken a decision that we'll rather work from home for the foreseeable future until infections reach the peak. So for now, we still using, I think I actually got it today, 064-513-1021, but the email is always best, because, even if you're busy, you can still look at your email much later in the day. So the info at tutuka-sa.co.za is still the best way to contact us.
No, that's fine. Can you give that WhatsApp number 064 again though, just in case?
064 513 1021.
Excellent. Sis Phumelele, always a pleasure chatting to you. And we are that much wiser as to what to do with our finances because we know a bit more. So much appreciated. And enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you so much, Bonolo. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. That was financial advisor Phumelele Ndumotha chatting to us today about emergency funds and how they work and all that jazz. So if you haven't thought about it, maybe it wasn't something, maybe you didn't even know that you could have one. Now you do. That contact number again, in case you have more questions, 064-513-1021. That's the number you can WhatsApp them on. Alternatively, info@tutuka-sa.co.za. Tutuka spelled THUTHUKA-SA.co.za.